US President Donald Trump has made a veiled threat to North Korea, claiming years of diplomacy with the rogue state have failed. In typical Trump style, the president shared his thoughts on Twitter, saying presidents and their administrations have been talking to North Korea for 25 years. Agreements made and massive amounts of money paid. Hasn't worked. Agreements violated before the ink was dry, making tools of US negotiators. Sorry, but only one thing will work. It comes after Mr. Trump made vague comments about the calm before the storm in relation to the ongoing North Korean nuclear tensions.
Mr. President, what did you mean by calm before the storm? What did you mean by that?
Thank you very much. You'll find out.
You'll find out?
Pentagon says the United States has not declared war on North Korea, so it's a continued general war of words. When do we reach the final straw?
You reach the straw that the Congress would have to make a decision as to whether a war or not if North Korea took a shot or attempted to take one of our aircraft down, especially over international airspace. And they have done that in the past, incidentally. This particular time, I'm not sure whether they have the capability to be able to take down a stealth bomber. If that happened, that would certainly be the straw that broke the camel back.
What type of military action are we talking about if that's exercised?
If they attempted to take one of our aircraft, we would certainly launch a strategic placement of ordnance along, especially north of the border of the DMZ, where all that conventional artillery is placed, because that would be the first thing that North Korea would do to take it out on South Korea. And in addition to that, they would take out industrial areas where munitions are known to be manufactured, in addition to the missiles that they allegedly have, and their nuclear sites if they have it. The problem is most of that is mobile.
All right, you were talking about South Korea. U.S. Air Force Brigadier General Rob Givens, retired, said a war between the United States and North Korea would result in about 20,000 South Koreans dying every single day. So how do you protect South Korea?
You almost can't, and that's exactly what I was talking about. Conventional artillery is all across the northern part of the DMZ. I was there, I saw that. It's all geared and specifically targeted to Seoul and the higher populated areas of South Korea. To be able to take all that out at the same time is almost impossible.
All right, finally, General, how does China play a part of it? You've been saying it all along. They're key in all of this.
China said that if North Korea started the action, they would stand by and not do anything. I have a little bit to understand on that one. They said the same thing in 1950. If we started it, allegedly, then they would come to the aid of North Korea.
And now, let's go back to October 1950.
On 20 October, United Nations troops have seemingly sent the bulk of the communist forces fleeing in defeat toward the Manchurian border, 100 miles to the north. British and South Korean troops are pursuing the disintegrating communist forces. By 27 October, South Korean troops have reached the Manchurian border on the Yellow River near Chosun, and other UN forces have advanced against virtually no opposition. But on the same day, a sudden, unforeseen factor changes the entire course of the war. Chinese communist troops cross the Manchurian border and help the North Korean Reds drive back UN forces. Chinese communists fighting in Korea are estimated at 75,000, with another 500,000 across the border in Manchuria posing a more serious threat. By 8 November, UN forces have been driven back considerably. But on this date, another unforeseen event occurs. Chinese and North Korean communist troops suddenly break off contact with United Nations forces and fight only rear-guard delaying actions as once again UN troops drive toward the Manchurian border. On 20 November, another United Nations unit reaches the Manchurian border. This time it is a United States unit, the first U.S. outfit to reach the border. As United Nations troops continue to advance in other areas, much depends on what the huge Chinese army will do next.
China will never allow chaos and war on the peninsula.
The first sign of the growing threat from China. Captured in East Coast battles 50 miles from the Manchurian border, these troops belong to Chinese Red Army divisions in the combat zone. Chinese and North Korean captives are brought out of the hills to Wonsan and Hamhung. The Chinese are better clothed than their North Korean comrades. With their quilted uniforms, they wear tennis shoes wrapped in layers of burlap, making a kind of shoe pack. In contrast with the Chinese, the North Koreans are in rags at this stage of the war. The prisoners double time across the Wonsan airfield. They are being marched to landing craft, which will take them to Busan. Since the beginning of the war, the North Koreans have suffered 460,000 casualties, including the dead, wounded, and captured. 130,000 Red prisoners have been taken at this time. 2 women are in this group.
I believe I've mentioned that President Trump, well, it's his first presidential term and he's gaining momentum. He's building up his experience in this field. And we had a dialogue on this issue. He listens to what I'm saying. He listens to my arguments. Well, I know that everything that's happening in North Korea is quite irritating for them. We understand that. But any actions aimed at undermining the NSC resolution compliance, we are condemning that.
And on North Korea, very quickly. The foreign minister said you have declared effectively war on North Korea, and the North Korean government has threatened to shoot down or aim at American planes flying in international airspace. I'd like your reaction.
Okay, well, I'll answer the second one first. We are totally prepared for the second option, not a preferred option, but if we take that option, it will be devastating, I can tell you that, devastating for North Korea. That's called the military option. If we have to take it, we will.